read from the kinetic man is not satisfied.
Rasika, we have read it, but we have to redo it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll read each sentence and we'll see. Yeah, we will redo. Correct. That's what Suki has noted. So, I see that Yasmin has still not come, but we can start because we are recording. So, the kinetic man is not satisfied with any ideal which does not depend upon the fulfillment of his cosmic nature. This play of the three qualities of that nature, this human activity of mind, heart and body, the highest fulfillment of that activity. No, sorry, that's the next sentence. So, the kinetic man is one who is very much interested in the physical world and he is active in it. Nobody use the word kinetic man, the one who is very rajasic. Okay, he may be pure, he may not be very pure also, but he is a kinetic man. Most of the politicians are kinetic men, okay, because they want power and they want position, okay, and most of them are definitely impure. Not for his, not everybody is not like Modi, okay. So, okay, so the kinetic man is not satisfied with any ideal which does not depend upon the fulfillment of the cosmic nature. This play of the three qualities of that nature, this human activity of mind, heart and body. So first of all, what he's saying is, he's not saying it openly, but he does not agree. The kinetic man does not agree with the ascetic, who is not interested in the physical world. He is giving up everything. So he's contrasting that. So the man who is very active in the physical world, if he turns to spirituality, he is not likely to give up his body-mind life. He wants to remain in the physical world and yet have a divine consciousness. Okay. So, and what is the physical world? The three qualities. What are the three qualities of nature? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva corresponds to the mind, corresponds only. Huh? They are all independent principles in nature. They are nature. Mind corresponds to Sattva. The heart or the vital, even little lower, corresponds to the Rajas. And the body corresponds to the Tamas. Okay. So in the universe, these principles are the matter, universal matter. These are all over the universe, everywhere. That is the tamasic principle. Then there is the energy principle, the storm, the wind blowing, the river flowing, the sunlight coming. All this is energy. The universe is full of energy. It is 1 degree above the plane of matter. It's pure energy. This energy is also universal. It is there everywhere. Look at the sun, look at the comets flying, millions and millions of flying, but all is based on Rajas. There is matter, the planets are all matter as well as Rajas. Then, which is not obvious, is the Sattvic principle where the universal mind plane is there above these two. So there is a universality and there is also an individuality in the body-mind life. So there is using about mind, heart and body. So we constantly come back to this association of the universe with the individual. Okay? They are always together. I keep repeating this because it's so interesting. We don't think of it that way. That's why. The individual is a condensed universe. And the universe is, if you see it that way, is an expanded individual. That's why the individual can also become, can have a cosmic consciousness. Okay, he can expand his consciousness beyond the body and it can become a cosmic consciousness. Your aura actually enlarges and goes far beyond your body. In fact, I told you a very interesting example of mother coming from Sri Lanka in a boat, and one report says 10 miles, another report says 2 miles outside Pondicherry. Mother could feel that she is entering Sri Lanka's aura. Okay, so that's the cosmic consciousness. Expands beyond your body-mind life. So this is what he's saying. The kinetic man, if he turns to spirituality, he is not going to run away from the physical world. That's what the impact of this sentence. Now, I read the next sentence. The highest fulfillment of that activity in the physical world, with your mind, your vital, and your body. He might say, is my idea of human perfection, of the divine possibility in man. So everybody is using the word, he might say. Okay. In fact, Srimdev will definitely say that. Srimdev will say that the divine perfection has to include body, mind, life. Okay. So that's what he's saying. He might say, okay, but he definitely is saying the highest fulfillment of that activity, you might say, is my idea of human perfection, of the divine possibility in man. And possibility of is very much there because he is the cosmos and he is also the supreme. The divine has got three stances which he takes: transcendental, outside the universe. Man can definitely experience that. Then there is a cosmic. The divine comes down into the cosmos and occupies it. It's not that it doesn't occupy it. Okay? Remember that. Because we feel that everything in the cosmos is mechanical energy. It's not mechanical. There is mechanical energy there. But behind the mechanical energy is the guiding hand of the divine. He is there in the universe. Then finally, he is there in all the individual forms also in the universe. Stones, small animals, big animals, human beings. Every individual thing has got the divine presence. So the fulfillment of that activity in the physical world would be the divine perfection, the highest that is possible to man. And what is the highest possible to man? He can become the divine. So that's what Srimdev is saying. But he is not attributing it to himself. He is saying, he is speaking of the Gita. So he might say, okay, in the man, some ideal that satisfies the intellect, the heart, the moral being, some ideal of our human nature in its action can alone satisfy the human being. Okay? In the human nature, human beings will not be fully satisfied unless the perfection encompasses mind, life, and body. If it does not, then the human being, not all human beings, some human beings like the ascetics are quite content by leaving the body, mind, life. But human beings like supposedly Srimdev's disciples, okay, they don't want to. if you don't follow, those who follow Srimdev's yoga, naturally they accept Srimdev's idea of perfection in the physical world, in the body, mind, life. So that's what he's saying. He will not be satisfied unless that also is completely pure. Okay? The body, the mind has to be pure with knowledge, the vital has to be pure with energy alone, without attachment, ego, and desire, and the body must be rid of its defects. And what are the defects of the body? Disease, lack of energy, and death. These are the three things which characterize the human body, but it has to be free of all that. Then only it can be a divine perfection. Is that possible? Yes, it will be possible. Not for the yogi, not even for the avatar, but it will be possible for the supramental race. They will have a body which will be immortal. Okay? Even the avatar, until now we have seen, they are subject to the laws of the physical world. And that's exactly what is Srimdev's Savitri. He is challenging the laws of the physical world. Savitri is challenging that I want to abolish you in the physical world. That's the whole gist of Savitri. Okay? And that's Srimdev's idea. And that's exactly why he has brought down the supermind. I read the next sentence. So he has to be satisfied. So he must have something that he can seek in the workings of his mind, life, and body, so that he can change the workings and make it perfect. For that is his nature. The nature of man is sattva, rajas, tamas. He is dharma. And how can he be fulfilled in something outside his nature? What is outside his nature? The ascetic principle, going to the self. That is outside his nature. So he should definitely go to the self, but he should bring down the power and consciousness and ananda of the self into the body, mind, life. That's the whole point. So, that's a dharma. And how can he be fulfilled in something outside his nature? So what is that something outside his nature, as I said? The self, the Brahman consciousness. You feel yourself to be outside the universe, outside your own body. Okay? For to each, for to his nature, each being is bound, and within it, he must seek for his perfection. According to our human nature, must be our human perfection, and each man must strive for it according to the line of his personality, his swadharma, in life, in action, not outside life and action. Okay, this is what he's saying. So, this is the whole. Somebody is putting his own philosophy into this, what he's saying here. There is a swadharma. So, we have discussed one day in detail, if you remember, the sabhava and the swadharma. Each human being is different in nature. Some are intelligent, some are energetic, some are full of energy in the body. They are very active. For instance, the athletes, okay, they live mainly in the body. Those who do physical activities. Those who are more in the, say, painters and artists and all that, they are in into the business of beauty. And beauty and also power, that also is there. And those who are more inclined towards knowledge are in the mind. Okay, so this is, each one has got his own swadharma. But the interesting part is that each soul also has got its own swabhava. We would tend to think that when the soul is perfect and united with the divine, all the souls will be similar. That is absolutely untrue. The divine is one and many at the same time. It is multiplicity. So, even all God realized people will have different soul natures, not body, mind, life natures. They will have soul natures. They'll be different. It will be like, as he says in the Life Divine, he says it will be like a huge orchestra, each one playing different instruments, and yet the harmony is perfect. Okay, that's the image he uses for this. The supramental race will not, everybody will not be the same. It will not be a homogeneous, dull, only one track thing. It will be multifarious. It will be full of all sorts of possibilities, each one representing one possibility. Okay, so that's what he says. For to his nature, each being is bound, and within it he must seek his perfection. According to our human nature, must be our human perfection, and each man must strive for it according to the line of his personality. The line of his personality is swadharma, in life, in action, not outside life and action. Yet, there is a truth in that, replies the Gita. Which is the truth? The fulfillment of God in man. Okay, he's saying, he's using the word, yes, there is a truth in that. Okay, that is to say, he has said, the highest fulfillment of the activity, might say, he has said. So now he's confirming that might say. Okay, so yes, there is a truth in that, replies the Gita. Okay, the fulfillment of God in man, the play of the divine in life is part of the ideal perfection. Whereas the Mayavadi and the Buddhist and the ascetic will not agree with this. They will not agree with the Gita. No, not possible. It is possible only in the Brahman consciousness. Possibility is only above, not here. Okay. There is no, they will reply to you in physical terms, they will say, gravitation is there at the physical level. There is no gravitation. Gravitation is, you are subject to the laws of physics, to the laws of the physical world. But only in the 100 miles above the earth, okay, there is no gravitation. You are free. So you have to go there if you want real freedom. If you want real divine freedom, you have to go there. That's what they will answer. But the Gita does not agree. It says that even here, don't forget that there is levitation here also. Okay, it is possible to have all those things even here. Okay? That's what it is. Yes, there is a truth in that, replies the Gita. The fulfillment of God in man, the play of the divine in life, is part of the ideal perfection. But if you seek it only in the external, in life, in the principle of action, you will never find it. So if you want to find perfection in the physical world, you have to, according to Sri, you have to ascend first. You have to go to the higher levels, get that power and that ananda and that consciousness, and then bring all that down into the physical world. So even in the integral yoga, the first movement of yoga will be an ascent. You have to leave your body, mind, life and go up, and then get those powers and those consciousness and ananda and power, and then come down to the body, mind, life. It's not easy. Descent is much more difficult than ascent. Ascent, many people have done. In India, any number of yogis, known and unknown, have gone into the divine consciousness. But to bring all that down into the body, mind, life is very difficult. Sri Aurobindo says in a letter, he says that after the Baroda experience of my going into the silent Brahman consciousness, I had a lot of difficulty. I had to do it repeatedly to bring down that knowledge into the physical world. You are likely to forget it. Your old habits will continue to exist for some time. So you have to bring that down. What is on the terrace has to be brought down on the ground floor. It's not easy. It's quite difficult. So that's what he said. But yes, there is a truth in that, replies the Gita. The fulfillment of God in man, the play of the divine in life is part of the ideal perfection. There's an interesting side thing here. In the synthesis, Sri Aurobindo says, just as man is aspiring for God, God also wants a relation with the human being. Okay? There is a mutual wanting. Okay? Man wants to go to God, and God also wants to come down into the soul. This is the, if you want to put it in philosophical terms, the divine is pouring his ananda, his consciousness and his power into the physical world. And that is what causes the evolution because of that. But the evolution is very slow. Why? Because the divine has created a game. He has created the darkest below, and he is now trying to go to the highest from that level. So when he's pouring also his power and everything into the lower is resisting. It's part of the game. Okay? But ultimately, it has to give up. The lower will not win. The higher will win. But it will win in time. Okay? It will take time. That's why the evolution is so slow. But if you seek it in the external, in life, in the principle of action, you will never find it. That's what the Gita is saying. Okay? That's what Gita is saying. If you look for it here, you have to look for it above and then bring it down. That is Sri Aurobindo's contribution. For you will then not only act according to your nature, which is in itself a rule of perfection, but you will be, and this is a rule of the imperfection, eternally subject to its modes, its dualities of liking and dislike, pain and pleasure, and especially to the Rajasic mode, with its principle of desire and snare of wrath and grief and longing. The restless, all-devouring principle of desire, the insatiable fire which besieges your worldly action, the eternal enemy of knowledge, by which it is covered over here in your nature as if a fire by smoke. This is an image used in the Gita. This is in chapter 3, verse 37-40. The fire of the divine in the human being is covered by smoke of ignorance. Okay? And the mirror by dust. Okay? The mirror is the silent mind which can actually give you a glimpse of which can reflect the divine, but it is covered with dust. You have to clean. And what is that dust? Your ignorance, your imperfections, your impurities. You have to get rid of all that, then it is possible to see the divine. And which you must slay in order to live in the calm, clear, luminous truth of the spirit. So, beautiful images in Gita. The images are so interesting. So, the fire is there in you. but it is covered by smoke. Okay? And the psychic being is described as adhumaka. Adhumaka. No smoke in the psychic being. It's only fire. A small fire. It's a very small flame, but it is without smoke. Pure. That's the divine presence in the human being. So, very interesting what he's saying. And look at the words. Okay? He's saying, if you want to find it here, you will never find it. Why? Because there is a field of imperfection. At present, at least. Okay? So, it's not possible to find it. But you may feel that how is Srimdu saying it is not possible to find it? Because you have to go first up and then come down. Okay? And then the supramental race will show itself in time in the evolution. But that will still take some time. So even then, the human beings will continue to be there, the animals will continue to be there, even after the supramental race comes into existence. And they will have the same difficulty. The supramental race will not have a difficulty, but they will have difficulty. And human beings, imperfect in the physical world, animals, all will have the difficulties. And what are those difficulties? Modes, sattva, rajas, tamas. They are the laws in the physical world. It's dualities. The dualities are all the opposites in the physical world, and both of them are always right. Okay? They're the full right to exist. Love and hate, they will always be there in the physical world. Okay? Discipline and freedom, they will always be there. The one, the collectivity and the individual. All these are the hot and cold. Both will be there. Okay? The good and the bad. These are the dualities. And that's the nature of the universe. Why? Of the physical world. Why? Because when the divine is creating, he will not create only one type. He will create all the types. And when he is creating all the types, it will not be only a section. If you use the image of light, it will be very obvious. He will not create only lights of a certain amperage. Okay? For instance, he will not say 100 watts only I will produce. No, he is going to produce 50 watts, 0 watts, and even negative. That becomes a darkness. And he will also create 5,000 watts, 10,000 watts, 1 million watts. So these are the dualities. When they come down to the physical world, the infinite and the finite become the dualities. And the dualities apply to everything. Whatever exists in the universe, there is an equal and opposite truth. That also is there. Okay? Even science has discovered this. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is the nature of the physical world, the dualities. Okay? So you can't find, you have to go above the duality. Liking, Srimdu has given a list of the dualities. Liking and dislike, pain and pleasure. Okay? Especially with the Rajasic mode, there is principle of desire. The desire is one of the most difficult things to get rid of. And it's snare of wrath. Look at the word snare. Huh? It's a trap. Wrath will trap you, anger. Grief and longing, these are also the snares. Okay? Grief and longing. The restless, all-devouring principle of desire. The desire is, when you have a desire, you make a huge effort to get what you desire. The restless, all-devouring. Okay? Everything can become secondary. The only first thing is to satisfy your desire. The insatiable fire which besieges your worldly action. The eternal enemy of knowledge by which it is covered over here in your nature as if a fire by smoke or a mirror by dust, and which you must slay in order to live in the calm, clear, luminous truth of the spirit. I remember a very interesting incident, and let me tell you about it because the person has gone away now. Okay? In fact, many of you may know that person also. It was Amal Kiran, and he was a great intellectual. There is no doubt about it. And he even had many psychic experiences. But he had one difficulty, which is sex problem. Okay? And he wrote to Srimdu that this problem is dogging me, so why not I go outside and fulfill my desire and then come back? What do you say to that? Srimdu replied, he didn't say exactly these words, but it's like trying to douse a fire with ghee. You will only increase the quantity. It will never disappear that way. That's exactly what you mean by in the physical world, your imperfection, you cannot make it perfect. It's not possible. Okay? So that's not possible. So that is the impossible to do it here. You have to go outside. You have to go outside, get the power, and then come down here. Okay? Yoga limited only to body mind life will never succeed. So you have to go first, you have to go out of your body mind life. You have to ascend and then only come down. Okay? Yeah, yeah, tell me.
Here outside ashram or outside the body mind life?
Yes, outside the body mind life, the Brahman consciousness.
No. When Amal Kiran asked him, was
Oh.
it outside means it is outside from the ashram, right?
Yes, yes.
Not in a
Your question is a very mischievous one. No, he meant Bombay. He meant, let me go back to my native place. Okay, so that's not possible. It doesn't happen that way. Yasmin, who was very close to Amal, may know about it or may not know. I don't know. But she was very close to Amal. Amal was a wonderful personality, tremendously attractive. I remember when I was a young boy, my God, how I was attracted to his personality. Tremendous brilliance, tremendous capacities, okay? Clear mind, and very attractive psychic qualities in him. Fantastic. But this problem was there with him. Nobody is perfect in the physical world, no? However great you are. Okay, that's interesting. You have to learn from both. You have to learn from the greatness, but you have to also learn from the defects which are there. You can learn the defects from yourself. You can also learn from the defects of others without judgment and without hate or without any diminution of your value of the person concerned. I go to the next sentence. The senses, mind, and intellect are the seat of this eternal cause of imperfection. And yet, it is within this sense, mind, and intellect, this play of the lower nature, that you would limit your search for perfection. He is putting an exclamation mark. Are you wanting to do that? It could have been a question mark also. And the answer, the effort is vain. Okay? The kinetic side of your nature must first seek to add to itself the quietest state. You have to learn to be calm. The kinetic side has to be calm. You must uplift yourself. Okay? Yeah. Uddharet Atmanam. That's what the Gita says. Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. The self has to lift itself up by the self. Okay? So that's what Swami is saying here. He actually translating the Gita on. The kinetic side of your nature must first seek to add to itself the quietest. You must uplift yourself beyond this lower nature, okay, to that which is above the three gunas. So there you are. You have to become Triguna Tita. You have to go beyond the body mind life. That is the outside. Okay? You have to go outside your nature. That which is founded in the highest principle in the soul. He's using the word soul here, but if you ascend, it's not a psychic being, it's a self. Only when you have attained to peace of soul can you become capable of a free and divine action. Very, very clear. If you try to control your anger, your desire, and all these things by remaining in the physical world, you can't. But there's another way, surrender. You ask the divine to do it for you. And he will do it not while you are stuck in the triguna, but he will make sure that you go outside first. That will make the possibility of a perfection in the physical body, mind, life. Okay? So this is the paragraph that we have read just now. Very interesting paragraph with the references to the Gita. Okay, now we read the next one. What is the time? 8:30. We have about 10 minutes. So we can read the next one. It's one page and we can read it. We'll do it next time in detail. the quietest. Who can read?
Rangada,
Would you like me to
Yes.
read?
There are two candidates, Yasmin as well as Sunki. Sunki,
oh, mine is a question. Can I ask a question here, Rangada?
yes, I didn't follow. Tell me.
She wants to
Question.
ask a question.
Oh, okay, you have a question. Okay, then we won't read it. Tell me the question. Tell me.
So the trigunatita, is
Ah.
that can that be achieved without surrender?
Yes, that's possible. The Jnani is not surrendering. Huh? He is not surrendering to the divine. The Tantric also, they worship the Divine Mother, but there is a surrender. But it can be done without surrender. But it's a much more difficult path. It's like, why do you want to take the trouble yourself when the divine can do it for you? Okay. It's like again we come back to the image of the monkey baby and the cat, the kitten. Okay. The monkey baby has to cling to the mother belly with its firm grip. But the baby cat surrenders itself to the mother. The mother cat will carry the kitten wherever it wants. So this is the image used by Ramakrishna. So surrender is the baby cat attitude. You depend on the divine fully. Okay? In your
But
heart.
Rangada,
Yeah, tell me.
but human being have a mind, so surrender is much more difficult, right?
Absolutely. Surrender is not the easy, but it is easier. Okay? Nobody said it is easy, but it is easier. Yeah, certainly. Surrender itself is not something mechanical. Oh, I surrender. No, not at all. Okay, it's not like that. It's not like Niazi surrendering the Bangladesh war. It's not that easy. He just puts a signature. Okay, it's not that. It's very difficult, but less difficult than the self-effort. Certainly. But it is possible. Some people are asking whether it's possible without surrender. But why take that path when there's an easier path? Nobody is suggesting that it is very easy.
Rangada,
Yes, tell me.
pertaining to this only, I wanted to ask a question. In Sankhya philosophy, identifying with Purush is also becoming Trigunatik. This is
Yes,
a
that's
theoretical
right.
question. Actually.
Yes.
It is, no?
When you go to self, you are identifying yourself, you become Trigunatita. You don't identify yourself in the body mind life. That's it. You go outside your body mind life.
So there is no question of surrender at all, right?
It can be done by surrender or without surrender.
Okay.
Depends on the system you follow.
No, in the Sankhya philosophy, I was asking.
Oh, in the Sankhya philosophy, yes, it's not surrender.
It's not surrender. That is what, because when Sumki asked the question, just this crossed my mind about Sankhya philosophy. That's why I wanted to ask you whether what I'm thinking. Okay. Thank you.
Because there they use the mind.
Yes.
And slowly they, by viveka and vichara, by discrimination and thinking constantly, the surrender path.
But Rangada, then how it can be Trigunatita? Because the vital and the body remains the same, no? Even if you identify with the.
Absolutely.
So
that's why you have to do the integral yoga. Once you go to the self,
yes.
you become Trigunatita, you have to bring down consciousness, bring down that power into the lower. That's what I told you. It's very difficult to do that. It's not easy. And that's why the ascetic and the Buddhist and the Mayavadin, they take the easy way out. Oh, I don't care about the body mind life. Let it be. But integral perfection, according to Sri Aurobindo and the Gita, they say that no, you have to come down here and change. But the Gita does not speak about the suprematic race or the evolution. They don't. They just say that you can be in the physical world without being afflicted or influenced by the impurities of the physical world. Be like the lotus leaf in water. That's what it is. Yeah.
Rangada,
Yeah, tell me.
then in the Gita, the Trigunatita and Nirguna, are they Are these two same?
Yes, they nirguna, but trigunatita can be also saguna. Yeah? In other words, as I said, in Life Divine Sri Aurobindo says that when you go to the self, okay, when you go to the higher mind level, two things are possible. One is you are in the nirguna. Nirguna means the impersonal aspect of the divine. You see the physical world as unreal. You see it as illusion. You see forms. You see that it exists, but doesn't seem to have any substance. They are only shadows. They are only silhouettes. They are empty of substance. Okay, just a form. But if you are in the self, and if you are lucky, then you can get the cosmic consciousness. And when you get the cosmic consciousness, you are in the self, but the physical world is not unreal for you. Okay? So that is the thing. It can be both. In the self, you can be nirguna as well as saguna. Not together. But being together, you have to go even higher up. Okay? If you go to the illumined mind and the intuitive mind and the overmind, then both will be there, but they will be separate. They will not be one. The separation disappears only at the highest level of the supermind. They will remain. Srivendra said that when he went to the overmind level, he is seeing both Purusha and Prakriti. He is seeing consciousness and Chit. He is seeing the Nirguna and the Saguna. But they are separate. You can alternatively have the experience. You can also have it together also. But they are separate. They are not one. But when you go to the highest level, you realize that the divine can be impersonal as well as personal. It can be impersonal, but you can have a personal relation. It's impossible for the mind to think of that, how that is possible, but that's exactly what happens. The mind is limited, can't conceive of these things. Okay. So, yeah, with all these discussions, some amount of clarity can come. No? So, it's worth.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll read this next one. The quietist, the ascetic. On the other hand, cannot see any possibility of perfection in the life. So he escapes from it. He takes a shortcut. Srivendra doesn't want to take the shortcut. He takes a long cut. He wants perfection everywhere. But you must get the perfection outside the body and life, then bring it down. And that is the reason why there is ascent and descent. Okay. So Srivendra yoga is characterized by this very important principle of ascent and then descent. You can't have a divine perfection here in the physical world as it is. Not possible. Okay. So I think we can stop here today.
Thank you, Rangada.
Okay.
The answer is
Yeah,
it's very helpful.
I encourage everybody
Merci beaucoup.
to ask questions, because then it clarifies my mind also. So questions are welcome.
Merci Rangada. Bonne journée.